The earth hummed with forgotten energy. This was a time before history, before legend, a time of the ancients. They were masters of forces we can only dream of. Energy, matter, time itself bent to their will. Theirs was a civilization of dazzling brilliance. Gleaming cities pierced the clouds. Impossible machines roared across the land. And above it all, a project of unparalleled audacity. The ancients looked to the stars. Not with the naive wonder of later humans, they saw the cosmos for what it was, a beautiful, chaotic garden. And within that garden, Earth was a fragile bloom. They knew they needed a protector, a shield against the cosmic debris that rained down from the heavens. Their solution was as bold as it was ingenious. They would build a moon, a celestial guardian to watch over their world. The project was of unimaginable scale. Generations lived and died toiling on this celestial construction. But the ancients were not deterred. They were driven by a purpose that transcended individual mortality. They were building more than a moon. They were building a legacy. The construction of the moon was a symphony of science and engineering. Massive machines burrowed deep into the Earth's crust, extracting vast quantities of raw materials. These were then transported to orbital foundries, where they were refined and shaped using a combination of nanotechnology and controlled gravity fields. Piece by piece, the moon began to take shape in Earth's sky. The ancients understood the delicate dance of gravity. They knew that placing such a massive object in orbit would be catastrophic. Their solution was a marvel of precision. They positioned the moon at just the right distance. They carefully balanced its mass and orbital velocity. The result was a masterpiece of celestial mechanics. The moon, a testament to their ingenuity, took its place as Earth's guardian. But the ancients were not content with simply building a shield. They knew that the cosmos held other dangers: solar flares, cosmic radiation, and the ever-present threat of another impact. So they went a step further. They transformed the moon into a lifeboat, a hidden ark that would preserve their civilization in the event of a planetary catastrophe. Deep within the moon's artificial crust, the ancients constructed a vast network of underground cities. These were marvels of self-sufficiency, powered by geothermal energy and advanced fusion reactors. Hydroponic farms provided sustenance, while sophisticated life support systems maintained a breathable atmosphere. These were not mere shelters. They were intended to be homes, places where their civilization could thrive, even if the surface of Earth became uninhabitable. Generations were born within the lunar cities, their existence unknown to the outside world. They continued the work of their ancestors, monitoring Earth from afar. They watched as civilizations rose and fell. They observed the slow, relentless march of time. They became the silent guardians of humanity, waiting for the day when their knowledge and technology might be needed once more. But even in their lunar sanctuary, the ancients were not immune to disaster. A new threat emerged, silent and insidious. A virus, unlike anything they had encountered before. It spread through their enclosed society like wildfire. The lunar plague, as it came to be known, was a nightmare. It attacked the very foundations of their technology, turning their life support systems against them. The air grew heavy with the stench of decay. The soft glow of their city lights flickered and died. Panic spread through the lunar cities. Their technology, once their salvation, now hastened their demise. Quarantine zones were established, but the virus moved with terrifying speed. The ancients, for all their wisdom and might, were helpless against this invisible enemy. Their carefully crafted civilization began to crumble. Section 5. Whispers from the Void. The lunar plague ravaged the moon bases. Only a handful of families survived. They sealed themselves in a hidden chamber, a last desperate hope. Their technology, now crippled and failing, offered them a faint glimmer of a future. They could hear faint whispers from Earth. Humanity had rebuilt. They were reaching for the stars, the Apollo missions, a beacon of hope from a world they could no longer reach. The survivors pooled their remaining resources. They sent a signal, a desperate plea for rescue. It was a long shot, a message in a bottle cast into the vast cosmic ocean, but it was all they had left. To their astonishment, someone answered. The world held its breath as the lunar module touched down. Two figures emerged, alien in their bulky suits. The first humans to walk on the moon were not explorers. They were rescuers. The world rejoiced, unaware of the true significance of the event. They had stumbled upon a secret older than time itself. Section 6. The Boy Who Fell to Earth. Among the survivors brought back to Earth was a young boy named Kalen. He was different. The trauma of the plague, the loss of his home, and the shock of a new world were etched into his very being. He was quiet, watchful, a stranger in a strange land. They gave him a new identity, erased his past. He became just another face in the crowd. But Kalen never forgot who he was. He carried the legacy of the ancients within him, a secret burden that fueled his every thought. He excelled in his studies, devouring knowledge with an almost insatiable hunger. Physics, engineering, computer science, he mastered them all with ease, his mind a sponge soaking up centuries of accumulated knowledge. But his brilliance came at a price. He was an outsider, unable to connect with the people around him. They saw his intelligence as arrogance, his silence as disdain. He was bullied, ostracized, pushed to the fringes of a society that both fascinated and repelled him. Section 7. A Mind Untamed. Kalen retreated further into himself, finding solace in his studies. He poured his energy into his true passion, space exploration. He devoured every scrap of information about the Apollo missions, studying the lunar lander designs, the mission logs, the grainy images of the lunar surface. He knew the truth. The moon was not a barren rock. It was his birthright, and he would reclaim it. His genius blossomed. He designed advanced propulsion systems, self-replicating robots, and sustainable biodomes. He envisioned a future where humanity would once again reach for the stars, not as explorers, but as colonists. And at the heart of his vision was Mars, the red planet, a blank canvas upon which he would paint a new future, a future free from the limitations of Earth, free from the constraints of his past. But his dreams were tainted by a growing darkness. Years of ridicule and isolation had hardened him. He no longer sought acceptance. He craved power, the power to reshape the world in his image, the power to make those who had wronged him pay. Section 8. The Genesis of Nemesis. Kalen's transformation was subtle at first, a hardening of his gaze, a coldness in his voice. He distanced himself from those who tried to befriend him, seeing their kindness as weakness. He embraced his alienation, using it as fuel for his growing ambition. He chose the name Nemesis, a constant reminder of the pain he had endured. He would become the instrument of their downfall. He disappeared from the public eye, using his wealth and knowledge to establish a hidden base, a fortress of science and technology where he could work on his true masterpiece, the downfall of humanity. His plans were audacious, bordering on madness. He would engineer a global catastrophe, a disaster so devastating that it would cripple the world's superpowers. In the ensuing chaos, he would offer his technology, his brilliance, as a way out. He would rebuild the world in his image, a world ruled by science and logic, a world where strength was the only virtue. Section 9. Red Sands of Revenge. The world watched in horror as Nemesis executed his plans. Natural disasters, once random acts of nature, became surgically precise strikes. Economies crumbled, governments fell, and humanity was brought to its knees. Then, just as quickly as the chaos began, it stopped. Nemesis, the self-proclaimed savior, emerged from the shadows. He offered his solutions, his technology, his vision for a new world order. And the world, desperate and broken, had no choice but to accept. But his true goal lay beyond Earth. He had not forgotten his legacy, the legacy of the ancients. He would rebuild their lunar cities, reclaim their lost technology, and finally achieve his ultimate goal, the colonization of Mars. Mars, the red planet, would become his masterpiece, the birthplace of a new civilization, forged in the fires of his genius and fueled by the bitter ashes of his revenge. The boy who fell to Earth had become the architect of its destruction, and on the red sands of Mars, Nemesis would build his new empire.